So I'm an 80s baby, even though you might not recognize that. But one of the shows that was present in my day was a show called Making of the Brand. And in this show, Making of the Band, they would have artists come from different places, different styles, and they would try to bring it together to create a cohesive band. Now, I'm not into music, I'm not a music artist, but I am a purpose and business coach, business development coach, and I want to talk about making of the brand. What makes a powerful, significant brand? So now, just as with the example of making of the band, where there are different artists, different styles, different levels of creativity coming together to make one unique sound, similarly with a brand, this is some of the elements that you need to be looking at. So first I want to create some fictional characters. These fictional characters would represent where you are in your brand development journey. So first let's talk about newbie Nancy. So newbie Nancy is new on the scene. She got an idea. She started a business. Boom, she's in business. She didn't have much thought into the direction of her brand. She just started, had a good product or service, and instantly, newbie Nancy is now in business. Now, what she's realizing is that she's showing up inconsistently. She was able to generate sales at one point in time, but now she's struggling with growing her business and her brand. Now, I'm not judging anyone because I was absolutely newbie Nancy at one time. Actually, I failed at 6 businesses before my 7th business, which I'm now running 8 years. Now, some of the elements that was missing in my brand development at that time, I had no clear target audience, I had no strategy, wasn't really sure what I was doing. It was hope marketing. I was hoping that someone would buy my product or service. I was sharing what I was doing with them, and I was just hoping that someone would buy. No judgment to you if you're newbie Nancy. That's probably why you're listening to this video, because you want to know how to make a powerful brand, not a band, right? So next we're going to talk about stuck in the middle Steve. So stuck in the middle Steve, he has consistent revenue but no growth. So he's making revenue every month, he's making revenue every sale, but the problem with stuck in the middle Steve is that he did not experience growth. Now, when Steve realized he did not experience growth, what he did is he diluted his brand. Now, Steve did not know that he diluted his brand. He simply started to add new elements. Steve actually started to create new products, create new services in hopes that it would generate some type of income in his business. Now, what Steve did when he diluted his brand is that he had consistent revenue but no growth. Listen, I've been stuck in the middle, Steve, as well. There was one point in time in my business, every time I wanted to create revenue, to generate revenue, I created a new product or a new service. And I did this to spark interest. I realized every time I had a new campaign, people were excited, I would make money, and then that would be it. So I had to create something new to make more money. So as Steve, I was stuck in this creation wheel. I felt like I had to create to make money. I had to create to make money. I also had shiny object syndrome, and that's what a lot of you may be experiencing if you say, listen, my brand is like stuck in the middle, Steve. I have consistent revenue or no revenue, and I just create new things to generate income. This happens because you're looking at other people's strategy and trying to implement it in your business. So you see this coach, this influencer, this mentor, someone that you admire online, they are working a strategy. You don't understand the back end of the strategy or why they are doing what they're doing. And you step into the shoe of your favorite guru, your favorite coach, your favorite influencer without recognizing, hey, my business may not be at the space to implement some of these strategies. Listen, stuck in the middle, Steve is trying everything. He has a podcast. Stuck in the middle, Steve is going live. He's doing events. He has a high ticket offer. He's doing coaching. He has a membership. Everything that comes on the market, stuck in the middle, Steve is trying. But the reason this is not working, because stuck in the middle, Steve did not focus on the making of the brand. Now, let's talk about Rockstar Rebecca. So Rockstar Rebecca, she has a strong brand image. She has consistent revenue. She's now making global impact. She's now positioned her brand in a space where people know her as an influencer or a thought leader, and she's able to generate money on demand. Rockstar Rebecca is like an ATM machine. She could just say something, create something, do something, and she would make money. Her brand is in this position where people know clearly who she is, what she does, and they follow everything that she does. Now, I hope you're asking right now, how do I get to the place of Rockstar Rebecca? Or maybe you're already there. But let's say you are probably newbie Nancy, or stuck in the middle Steve, or Rockstar Rebecca looking to improve your brand and your image. How did Rockstar Rebecca get to this place where she now has a solid brand? That's what I want to talk about today, the making of the brand. Now, this is not the MTV show where it's making of the band and all of these pieces are coming together, but we're going to use that concept so that we create a cohesive brand and an image. Now, the first thing you want to determine is, are you building, number one, a personal brand? A personal brand is a brand where you are the face of that brand. It means that people are drawn to your personality, your likes, your dislikes, the way of doing things. Your face is the face of the brand. It's similar to like an Oprah, just one name and she's a brand. You just have to mention that name and there's an image in your mind that comes with the thought of Oprah because she's a personal brand. LeBron James, personal brand. There's so many people that have built strong personal brands because of who they are. Now, the thing about personal brands, there is one unique skill that makes someone now seem superior. So everything they attach their name to now becomes something significant. So let's talk about Oprah, right? In her talk show days and what she did in her space in terms of creating herself as the brand. Now she has own network, she has magazines, many other things that came out of that personal brand. Guess why? People bought into her personality, what she's done, and she built this personal brand that she can now leverage in multiple ways. It means more than likely everything that Oprah attaches herself to, it probably turns to gold because of who she is and because she created a strong personal brand. Now, personal branding, not everyone says, okay, I want to be a personal brand or I want to be the face of my brand. It has its benefits in that once you build your personal brand on one strong core concept and people see your results in that concept, they're able to switch and to believe in anything that you have because of a strong personal brand. Now, to my people that might be listening and say, oh, I don't want to be the face. I know how we do sometimes. I don't want to be on social. I don't want to be on live. Listen, sometimes you do what you have to do, but maybe you're building a faceless brand. Remember, we're talking about making of the brand. So we talked about number one, personal brand. You are the face, people buy into you. Let's go into number two, faceless brand. This brand is similar to, you should be familiar with, or if you're not familiar with, there's a brand on Instagram that's called Boss Babe. Now, early on in the brand development phase, you did not know who was behind the brand. You just saw the quotes, and it was this community and this movement of women calling themselves Boss Babes. But there was no face similar to like an Oprah or LeBron or any personal brand that you could think of. There was a thought, there was an idea, there was a movement, there was a community. So if you're building a faceless brand and you're newbie Nancy or stuck in the middle Steve, you have to think, what is the core message of my brand? What is the thing I want people to believe, to feel, to experience? And this would now form a community where people are happy to be associated with this original thought that you have that's behind the brand. Now, this is where newbie Nancy went wrong. Remember, we talked about newbie Nancy had a business idea. She put it out. She got some sales. She got excited. Boom, she had a business. But she didn't think about the thought behind the business. Was it a personal brand or faceless brand? What was the original idea? Was she going for community? Was she going for people liking her? No clue, but just building a business. And we are talking about making of the brand. So let's go back now to this faceless concept of where there's no face behind the brand. This usually happens with software companies, service-based companies, SaaS companies, software as a service, because you are buying into a concept, an idea, a solution. You're not really concerned about who is the face behind the brand, but more so what the brand delivers. You have to be very deliberate about the type of brand you are making. This determines the success of your business in terms of how you show up. Now let's talk about number 3. So number 3, I like to call like an idea brand, or a brand that becomes a part of everyday language. I'll give you an example of a brand that's like an idea brand. This is like a Google. Google was not in our language. We don't communicate and say, oh, I'm going to get a Google. Oh, I'm going to buy a Google. It's not something that we said. Yet Google has replaced the term search in our mind. Every time we think of search or looking for something, you think, I'm going to Google it, making of the brand. They had this strong idea that they wanted to replace people's language so that now their idea became common communication or common thought. Your brand is not, I know you think it's the pretty logos and the colors. It's part of the brand, right? Making of the brand, there are many components, but it's really the thought that's left in the mind of your consumer. So Google, Amazon, they've done great jobs of having an idea, getting us to replace language in our mind. In terms of search, we think of Google. If we want to shop, we think of Amazon. So they have naturally replaced our thoughts and our action with the type of brand that they have built. Now, there's some other brands that are very similar. For example, the Shade Room on Instagram, where the idea behind it is just sharing celebrity news, celebrity gossip, if you say so. But there's an idea behind the brand. There's no face. It's just this thought that they are portraying, and you know when you go to their page exactly what you're going to get. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, listen, I want to create a powerful brand, these are some of the elements that you need to be thinking of. Am I newbie Nancy, where I just started a business and by default I'm making sales, but I have no system, I have no strategy? Maybe I have a website, maybe I have a logo, maybe I have some colors, but there's no consistency. Am I stuck in the middle, Steve, where I have some consistency but no growth? And I'm thinking that growth means new product, new service, new idea, but I really need to focus on my branding. Or am I Rockstar Rebecca, that when people hear my brand, there's this thought that lives in their mind that they automatically default to certain words? Now, I can't tell you about where you are in the brand building stage without telling you how to move out of it, how to get to the next stage, and how to create a successful or strong brand. Like, I hear you right now telling me, Risha, tell us how we can make this successful brand. I got you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to become essential. So once you figured out, am I a personal brand? Am I a faceless brand? Am I an idea brand? You want to become essential. A great example of a business that has become essential, well, for coffee drinkers like myself, would probably be Starbucks. One of the beautiful things that Starbucks has done is that they have their own language. A brand has its own language, its own tone, its own personality. So when you go to Starbucks, in terms of the drinks, instead of it being small, medium, large, it's going to be tall, grande, venti. Now, why is this language so important and so necessary? Because it's part of the culture that Starbucks as a brand is developing, so people can now form community. I have this friend, she's probably watching this episode and she probably knows herself. She does not drink coffee, does not go to Starbucks or anything. So she was ordering Starbucks one day and she lives in North Carolina. She was calling me laughing right after because she said as she pulled up to the window, she said, can I have a small? And the person on the other end was like, tall? And she was like, small. And they were like, tall? She was like, small. And they were like, okay. So we laughed about it because she had no association with the language. Because guess what? She's not part of their community. She's not a loyal, coffee or Starbucks drinker like myself, so it meant nothing to her. But for those of us who drink Starbucks, we're very proud of our Starbucks. We call ourselves Starbies. We have our own little community going on. We show up as our loyal Starbucks drinkers. What's that? Making of the brand. They have language that is only understood within their community. If you're making a solid brand, do you have language that's only recognizable within your community? As a purpose coach, I call, my tribe, my purpose tribe or purpose partners. So funny enough, anytime a new person joins our group, the members of the group, they begin to say, oh, welcome to the purpose tribe. If they're talking to one another, they say, hey, purpose partner. Why? Because the making of the brand, I've been very deliberate about creating language that people within my community know they can feel a part of and they can connect to. So when you become essential, you become a part of someone's life. Just like people know I have these bills coming up every month, or this is my daily routine, this is my daily pattern. You want to make your business, your product, or your service a part of someone's life that makes it essential. So that people now say, I can't do without my Starbucks. We don't own it, but we personalize it because there's an affinity to the brand, making of the brand. So whether you're product-based, service-based, you want people to say, I can't do without my, fill in the blank of your product or your service. Because the transformation that they experience, the community, the level of service, there's so many parts in terms of making of the brand. You buy what you buy because of brand recognition. You buy what you buy, you like what you like because of brand affinity. So you want to make sure that your business now becomes essentially a part of someone's life. Now, there's another community, and that community, I'm a part of that community, not religiously, but we are like, the J wearers, right? We like our Jordans. People gonna line up, they're gonna pay big bucks to get their J's. Why? Community and branding. Because of Michael Jordan, who has his deal with Nike, and now people recognize and they want to now wear J's because there's an association. There's also something that lives in people's mind related to the brand. Why? Because they became essential. Apple has also done the same thing. I could go on and on and on, and I could tell you different brands that have become essential because they've built up a loyal following of people that enjoy their brand, that wants to be associated with the brand for whatever reason, whether it's functionality, whether it's status, whether it's joy, whether they just enjoy that particular brand. They just want to be a part of that brand. So the first thing you do is you become essential. Now let's talk about social media as a part of that branding narrative. So social media, I like to call it free real estate. It's free real estate that you have to build your business. It means that you now have this platform where you can say almost anything and build a brand. The brand is, what do I want people to see, feel, and experience? The brand lives in the mind of my customer. It's not my logos, my colors, but those things do make a part of my brand. So now when we talk about our branding and we talk about being essential, and then we went into social media. Now in terms of social media becoming a component of your brand, my mentor likes to see that it's the marketing department, right? It's the marketing department of your brand. So people start thinking, I'm going to create content, and they instantly think social media, but what's connected to the content? Brand building. What do I want people to see, feel, experience as it relates to my brand? So social media now gives us the ability to have this platform where we can basically project the things that we want people to see in relation to our brand. This is my approach to social media. You can take the same approach. I use the platform itself as my menu. I think about if someone is going to a restaurant, there's an expectation of every restaurant based on their brand. Right. You got it. Making of the brand. So if my social media platform is acting as my restaurant, it means that once people visit my restaurant or my page, I now want them to experience something when they come to my page. Remember, see, feel, experience. It's part of branding. So on my page, anytime someone lands there, I want them to see, feel, and experience a particular thing. Now, with my page, you're going to see, feel, experience, purpose, business, God. Those are my topics. I talk about them. I don't really stray from them because I'm on social media as a business. I'm a personal brand. It means that I'm sharing parts of my life which form a part of my brand to get more affinity to everything that I do. So I did a test a couple weeks ago when I made a post on social and I said, in 3 words, like, what would you think about when it comes to my brand? Can you guess what people said? You don't have to guess. I'm going to tell you. Purpose, business, course creation, God, my faith. These are things that I talk about over and over and over on my page. Now, I know sometimes you struggle with thinking, people have seen this already. Oh, I'm tired of talking about this. They've heard me talk about this before. But no, you are making a brand, which means that you have the ability to control the narrative that lives in people's mind in relation to your brand. So you never want to be stuck in the middle, Steve, diluted brand, where I'm talking about 50 gazillion, trillion different topics, and people don't know what to come to me for. You want to be very, very direct about who you are, what you serve, and your reason for social media. So if I think about social media as my menu, usually when you walk into a restaurant, people are going to be, hi, we're happy to have you. You can have a seat. Now, once they seat you, they present a menu. In that menu, there's usually a section that's called Chef's Special. And in the Chef's Special, it's what they are known for. Like, this is the thing that we cook the best. This is our specialty. On your social media pages, people should clearly know what is your Chef's Special. What's the thing that you want to be known for? The flagship product, idea, service that you provide. I like to use a maximum of 3. Sometimes people go over and they want to talk about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things. No. You want to narrow it down, please, to about 3 things that you talk about the most. Even though the menu has tons of variety, different things that you can eat, different things that you can experience, the menu has a section that's special. And the restaurant is known for a specific thing. This is what you want to create with your platforms. Because we are making I hear you shouting, brand. So now let's move on. We talked about essential. We talked about social media, how this plays a part in terms of what I want people to see, feel, and experience. Let's talk about how we use our platforms. So I use my platform as, let's say, Netflix, for example. So there are topics, 3 main topics. I told you my 3 main buckets. You should have your 3 main topics, your 3 main buckets that you share from. And it's almost as if people are coming to, Netflix. When you go to the Netflix portal, there are series that people watch, there are movies that you watch, and you watch one consistent series or movie that you like. It's the same thing that you want to create with your content. It should feel like the continuation of a series. Even though you don't know who's coming to the page, when they're coming to the page, and what they're following you for, your content should act as a continuation of a series. This series is your projection of what you want people to think, feel, experience, know that you serve based on what you portray on your series. So you're now creating content in a loop. Content in a loop. Brendan Burchard calls it circular virality. And what he says is that your YouTube channel is probably connected to your blog, which is connected to your newsletter or your email list, which is connected to possibly your LinkedIn page, which is connected to your Instagram, which is connected to your Facebook. So everywhere that people land on your message in terms of your brand, there is one piece that connects them to something else, and you end up having people going in a circle connected to your brand. So it means that everywhere I show up, this is a piece or a part of my story, and it's going in a circle and it's connected to my overall brand. So I'm not doing something totally different from Facebook than what I'm doing on TikTok or what I'm doing on Instagram, what I'm doing on LinkedIn, what I'm doing on YouTube. It's the same concept created in a way that the platform enjoys information, not the way you enjoy the platform. So you're not going to go on TikTok with your Facebook behavior. It's a totally different platform, totally different rules. Similarly, you're not going to go on LinkedIn with your Instagram approach. Each approach is based on how the platform enjoys, which is what they have set as. This is what this platform serves as. These are the people that are on this platform. This is how they enjoy consuming content. And now you have content that's palatable to each platform, but it's going in a circle and it's connected. Making of the brand. Good. I love it. Is this good? Are you all getting good insight out of this? Let's continue talking about making of the brand. So we spoke about the social media platforms, how they play a part of like a series, Netflix series of thoughts, ideas that you are sharing with your audience. Now, stories act as reality TV. So I started out by saying I'm an 80s baby. We use the concept of making of the band to now work on making of the brand, bringing everything into a cohesive, flowing state, right? Now, stories. Stories act as reality TV, but they also act as a very, very strong part of branding. In your stories, you have the ability to share with people what's going on in your life in real time, or however you determine to share it, right? Now, how you should be using your stories is to share with your audience your core values, things that are important to you, your lifestyle. I'll tell you guys a super funny story. So I used to, and I totally need to start back, I used to do this session on my page every Friday on Instagram. It was called Follow Fashion Friday. Every Friday, I'd put like fashion that I liked, things that I saw online, and I would share these polls and I would say, rock it or knock it. So if you would rock it, totally rock the outfit, you'd vote rock it. Knock it is like, no, this isn't good. I'd put yay or nay. So you'd say, yay, I would totally wear this, I'll slay it, or nay, I don't like it, this or that. So I did this every single Friday. Do you know that there were people that said to me, I come to social media every Friday on Instagram just to see Follow Fashion Friday. And, I'm rushing ahead of myself. I'm going to tell you why that was important, but I wanted to share with you how stories become reality TV. People actually watch this stuff as if it's TV because they are very interested in what you have going on with your life. If someone is watching, my grandma used to say, if people are watching, give them a good show. So you have to now craft these stories in a way, think about it as if it's a show. You are not putting it forward as if it's a show, you are just sharing elements of your life. I like to say, and you should take this quote down, make sure you quote me, your life is content. Krisha Sarah Bowen, your life is content. So because people are watching you like if it's reality TV, every time you show parts of your life, they follow the journey and they are connected. So back to Follow Fashion Friday. So there were a couple times that I did not do it. People were in my DMs on Instagram saying, where is Follow Fashion Friday? What happened to Follow Fashion Friday? And I had to put it together and put it out. Now, I haven't done it in a couple of weeks. Y'all don't come for me, my Follow Fashion Friday followers. But it just goes to show you how stories become a powerful part of your branding because it now becomes reality TV. So, social media, let's recap. Social media is my restaurant, my menu. I'm sharing my dishes. Stories, reality TV. I get to control both. Social media, Netflix series, part 1, part 2, part 3. Stories, this continuous story of your values. Now, why did I do Follow Fashion Friday? By nature, we follow programming. whether it's intentional programming or unintentional programming. Whether you're making a deliberate choice or you're not making a deliberate choice, you are making a choice. So in terms of programming, you do practically the same things every single day in the same order. Or if you like a particular show, if you like a particular style of food, you get it the same way every time. If you like a particular series, you watch that series. If you're into TV and you watch live TV, you know every Monday is your favorite show. Now, because of this, it becomes a part of your life. You know Monday at 8 o'clock, you watch, like me, I watch The Voice. Seems to have a musical theme here, right? I watch The Voice. So I know when The Voice is in season, every Monday at 8 or every Tuesday at 8, I'm watching The Voice. I know when time changes, it's an hour later for me in Trinidad, so I know The Voice is every Monday at 9, every Tuesday at 9. I know that on Monday, that's when they have all of the singers. On Tuesday, they make the decisions. Why? Because The Voice has now become a part of my life and it's now essential, a part of branding, and it became a part of my schedule. How awesome would it be for people to put you on their budget, your business, to say, I have to have this? How awesome would it be for people to put you on their schedule, to say, I have to watch this? How awesome would it be for people to say, oh, I must listen to this? Because you became essential, because you're making a powerful brand, and because you've now become a part of their life and their rhythm, they now incorporate your business as part of their life. Now, what a lot of us are doing in the online space is that we are so sporadic with how we do things. We don't create campaigns or events around what we do. If I created an event around a particular thing, let's say, for example, my Follow Fashion Friday, people know every Friday at a specific time, Krisha's going to share in her stories fashion, we're going to vote on it. There was nothing much that came out of that, guys, honestly, other than having people be excited to come every Friday to see this theme that I had curated specifically for my audience. Now, my target audience is like me. They're very fashionable. One thing about me, I'm going to have my nails done. I'm going to have my hair done. And, I'm just going to wear what I like to be comfortable. So my audience knows this about me. But what is that? Making of the brand. It's a part of branding. They know I'm going to have Starbucks. They know my drinks. Because I share it on my stories. If I'm buying my Starbucks drink, I'm going to share with you. This is my venti pink drink, which I love. It's strawberry acai with coconut milk, 2 pumps of white mocha, and it has the strawberries on the inside of it. So I'm going to share that, or I'm going to share a matcha with violet foam or lavender foam or some type of foam. So funny enough, when I share it, sometimes my clients are in the DM, Coach, what drink is that? I'm going to try that drink. Or they're like, oh, I like that drink too. That's my favorite drink. That is a form of branding. I'm sharing my likes. I share my dislikes. I share my life because my life is content. I share my values. So let's take it off of me and let's put it into you. Maybe you're newbie Nancy. Maybe you're stuck in the middle, Steve. Or maybe you're rock star Rebecca and you just like listening to this channel. You just like listening to me teach, and that's awesome too. If there's something about your life that's unique, you will not believe, like dog lovers. You all have your own community. I'm not a dog lover. Please don't stone me. I can tolerate them, but I have no pets, mainly because of my mother. When we were younger, she said anything that can't, flush, we can't have it. So I don't have a dog. But I do have friends, cousins, family members who are dog lovers. Now, what I realize is that dog lovers, you have your specific tribe. Like, y'all are so loyal to walking these dogs, type of food. My cousins take their dog to the doggy spa, doggy hotel. Like, it's just extreme what y'all do with your dogs. I love you all. Hey, I'm not a dog lover, but I'm just making a point. If you're building a brand, that can be a part of your branding. There are people that will do business with you because you're a dog lover. I know it sounds absolutely absurd and ridiculous, but you would not realize that over time, if you walk with your dog, Sparky, every morning, and you show that on stories, reality TV, and every day people see Sparky, over time, They're going to be DMing you saying, hey, I got a dog just like yours, or I saw this, or you might want to try this for Sparky. How is Sparky today? Did you all go for a walk? People are invested in this thing like if it's real TV, because it's reality TV. And then there's someone that's going to say, listen, I only work with you. I only support your business. I only support your brand because you are an animal lover. Because that's a subliminal, I'm chewing up my words here, subliminal form of branding. So remember earlier I was talking about you think that your brand is just the logo and the colors and the website, and they are important. They are part of branding. But there are some other subtle elements like your personality, like your beliefs, dependent on the type of brand that you are building, that's very important in terms of how people view your brand. Me, for example, I am a faith-based entrepreneur, so I share my faith very often. And I may share on a typical day in the morning, I will do devotional. I'll share probably what I'm reading, the scripture, what I got out of it. That's branding because there's somebody that is going to say, listen, I want her to be my coach because of her belief. Her belief aligns with my belief. So we talked a whole lot about making of the brand. We talked about identifying where you are in your branding journey of your business. We talked about things that you can do that makes your brand significant. We talked about how to change your view and your perspective of what you're doing online, using multiple platforms to connect your message, but creating content in the way the platform enjoys. I'll give you all a funny story, right? I've been all of these characters. I've been newbie Nancy, I've been stuck in the middle Steve, and I've been rockstar Rebecca. Whoop, whoop. But I've done all of the things that you're probably doing right now, and that's why I can tell you so much about them. Because I've took content that I created for one platform and put it on the other platform and posted it all at the same day. And instead of creating a circle, I created a line because I'd create one post for Instagram and I just put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, put it on LinkedIn, put it on, just put it everywhere without creating a circle that connects. Now, an example of a circle that connects, let's say we created this video and we converted this video into a blog where you can get like the key points of making of the brand. And then we took that blog and we created these quote posts of things that I've said in this session, and we've used those quotes on LinkedIn. And then we've created a newsletter where we're talking about key elements of making a brand. And then we've created these stories. And in the stories, I'm showing you my process of brand development and brand evolution, because I never start over from scratch. I just evolve. So one day you could probably come see, my page is pink, and the next day you'd probably just see it turn color, because I believe in the evolution of a brand. Each brand evolves. So when you start out, you might not have a full idea, full concept, full thought, know exactly what you want to do. But in terms of making your brand, you can evolve. It does not mean that you delete everything and you go back to zero, because I also believe there's value in people seeing transparently how your brand has evolved. One of the things that my purpose partner, my tribes, they always say is, Coach, we love seeing you grow. We love seeing you evolve. Why? Because I did not delete and start from zero. I show them transparently how I'm growing, what I'm doing, what's next, what's my vision, how I'm moving the brand forward, and creating a personal brand. They buy into the idea of Krisha as the coach. They love my products and services, but they love the evolution, seeing me grow, seeing the brand grow, seeing different things. So when you are doing your brand building and maybe you came across this video, don't think I'm going to start from zero. I'm just going to delete my entire page, archive my page, start a new page. No, 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 no. Start from where you are and evolve. If you look at any logo, any brand, like I dare you to Google Apple logo or Pepsi logo or Coca-Cola logo, you would see there's so many variations because the brand evolved. There are things that they enjoy, things that they liked, and the brand evolved. It's the same thing with you. As you grow, your brand or your business is going to evolve. But my point is, just make sure you have a clear vision and a clear idea of what you are doing in terms of your branding. Now, I've had an exciting time talking with you guys about making of the brand. I hope you would take some of the strategies that I've shared. I need to share one more. Oh my, how can I forget? I started telling you guys about events and how events, create such a powerful part of your brand. Because when you create an event, you get this rush of visibility, this burst of excitement, and people now want to follow that event. So if you are in brand building stage, brand growth stage, maybe you're Nancy, you're transitioning into determining, is this a personal brand, faceless brand, idea brand? You're writing, what is the language of my brand? How do I want to show up? What Netflix series, social media I'm creating? What reality TV stories I'm creating? How am I going to show up on TikTok? How am I going to show up on whichever platform of your choice? You want to create an event around that. That event makes people know something new and exciting is happening. My coach, Marcus, always says, every time you have attention, you point it somewhere. I used to be the girl that would take new photos, create a new flyer, and just put it out there. And that's making an announcement, not doing a launch. When you make an announcement, you're going to get, congratulations, sis. Oh, bro, that's so amazing. That's good. Because you did an announcement. You took new pictures. You posted it up. Guilty. And he says, every time you have attention, you must point it somewhere. So if you know you have a new product launch, service launch, you want eyes on something, you're trying to grow visibility, build your website, build whatever you're doing as a launch, make everything an event. So if I were doing a new logo, I'd create a launch. If I were doing a new series, I'd create a launch. If I were doing a challenge, I'd create a launch. If I were sharing new ideas of a new series, I'd create a launch. If I were releasing a book, I'd create a launch. The launch is just a series of steps that builds the momentum and the excitement for people around the idea that you have. So whatever idea you have, maybe you're going through brand evolution, I would suggest, if you're going to change colors, change logo, launch a new website, launch a new product, a service, host an event, create new packaging, new branding, new labels, write a book, whatever you are going to do next in relation to your brand, I want you to create a campaign around it. And I want you to create this as a launch. Netflix does this to us all the time. And I hope you guys are Netflix watchers. Like if Bridgerton is coming out or some new type of series, they'd have these dates that it's coming out and they'll build up and they'll share all these posts and they'll have us going in a circle and they'll have us excited and then they'll release it and they'll have this flood of excitement, flood of energy around the release so that they can get more people to subscribe, more people to buy into the concept or the thought of what they will do next. So use your launch as preempting what you will do next. I hope you guys have enjoyed this talk, this series, Making of the Brand. I hope and I know you got some great insight out of it. Take notes. I'd love to hear your feedback. Share it with someone else that you know is building a brand. Don't call any names now. Don't tell them like you're newbie Nancy, you're stuck in the middle Steve, or you're rockstar Rebecca. Just say, hey, you might find some valuable insight in terms of brand building from listening to this chick on this video. Share this video with someone and look forward to talking with you guys about purpose, brand building, and how you can create a solid brand that gets you